I identify as a passenger princess, but my chauffeur, excuse me, boyfriend, can be a bit of a fast driver sometimes in this heck of a race car that he has. And naturally, when he makes sharp turns, this happens. Slow down! But screaming is a tiring job to have as a passenger princess. Plus, who's gonna do it when he's driving alone? If only there were a device that could do it for me. So here's what I've created to solve this very pressing problem. So we have an Arduino, of course, and here, this is an inertial measurement unit, or IMU, which measures things like acceleration and orientation through some black magic that I won't bother explaining here for retention purposes. There's also an MP3 player module. Please don't try to insert an SD card that has too much storage and then bang your head for hours against a wall trying to figure out why your thing is not working. I'm not speaking from personal experience or anything. And a speaker, or two, if you want to be extra loud and obnoxious. I also have an SD card reader module where we can write to files. And for the code, I use my favorite programming tool, Control-C, Control-V, to cobble together something that works. So the idea is that every time the Arduino detects that the acceleration coming from the IMU is higher than a predetermined threshold, it would then tell the MP3 player module to play a sound on the speakers. But first, we need to figure out what that threshold should be. I'm gonna go drive around town now to collect some data with this very unsuspicious, unthreatening thing on my dashboard. So see y'all when I get back home. Okay, let's look at some results from my early testing. So up top is my dash cam view, and down below we're seeing the readings from the IMU at that same moment in time. These lines are both showing acceleration, but the red one is lateral and the blue is forwards and backwards. Note that the units here are in G's. So here this blue peak is showing that we are decelerating in a straight line, while this red peak indicates that we're making a turn, which is a change in lateral acceleration. I thought this was super cool when I saw it for the first time. Like, data is beautiful. Anyway, I really wanted to make sure that I wouldn't be triggering my device on things like lane changes, like this one right here, or any other maneuvers you have to make because of crazy LA drivers. And unfortunately, the data is quite noisy, which is what I was afraid of because roads are always bumpy and I'm using a kind of shitty $2 accelerometer, and it's not at all because of my execution or anything. Now I could spend a bunch of time to figure out what the exact lateral acceleration threshold for a turn is, or because it doesn't really matter too much and I'm lazy, I could just overcomplicate it. So then I was like, what other variables does the IMU record? Oh, Z angle, of course. Why didn't I think of that in the first place? So out I go on the road again. Here in the purple line, I'm recording the change in Z angle every 100 milliseconds, which is the change in the direction that the car is facing. And in the red line, we have the same lateral acceleration I was talking about earlier. Due to some idiosyncrasies in the code, the Z angle data is much cleaner than the acceleration data, which was wonderful. And it also tracked so nicely with acceleration data as well. So by setting thresholds on both Z angle as well as lateral acceleration, I'm able to better isolate each left and right turn from all the other random noise on the road. And now that everything is working great, all that's left is to have a little vocal recording session. You want to see how this thing works? So we're making a left turn. Wow, oh my gosh, this thing is amazing! What a wonderful use of my time. Stop. And now it's time to try out my invention on a test subject who totally has not been seeing me build this thing from day one. Yeah. Let's go get some boba.
No.
So we're on our way to get boba now.
Pineapple cakes? Was that you?
Nope.
That's my life now. Why would you do this to me?
Because I want you to drive safer. Now, even when I'm not in the car, you'll be reminded to take your turns more slowly.
I'm doing a U-turn at like 2 miles an hour.
Well, what can I say? This thing works beautifully, and I get to protect my delicate vocal cords while still conveying my message through the power of technology. And now his driving is so much safer.
This is fun. I want another Lion King opening. You see what your perverse incentives have done?
So please like and subscribe and whatnot so I can continue to entertain my boyfriend. Yes.
Holy fuck. That hurt. Why was that so loud?